Hey everybody, what's going on? It is Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today I'm going to take a look at a game called Mezen. I think that's how you say it. Mezen is a game published by Hobby World and in America by Arcane Wonders, designed by Nikita Sorokin, and plays 1 to 5 players. Where's the time? I can't find the time. In about so many minutes, so many ages. What does it say? 12 plus, 1 to 5 players, 30 minutes. All that's probably accurate. And what you're doing in this game, let me see if there's any theme here. In the far, far north, in the land of dark days and white nights, flows the river Mezen. From meadows and forest edges, horses gallop towards it, birds flock to it, foxes run to it. Not even the man could resist this river. The man walked to it and stayed for centuries. The nature of Mezen amazed the man so much that they decided to commemorate it. They gathered soot, black as the night itself, and clay, red as the sun, picked up a brush and started creating. This is how the famous Mezen painting came about. The style which this game is based on. In Mezen, you will take on the role of a northern craftsman, creating intricate ornamental paintings to order, combine symbols, and flip. A little translation issue, we'll get back to that. Combine symbols and flip tiles to accomplish goals and earn victory points. The player to earn the most victory points after the 10th round wins. So basically what you're doing is, if you ever played Tiny Towns or Ecos or Karuba, someone's going to say like an animal type. These tiles have animal types. And then every person is going to take that a group of those animals, which means tiles next to each other, and remove them from the board, flip them to the opposite side from either white to black, black to white, and then slide everything down, put those back in to try to make some scoring issues. So I want to have chickens in those areas there, okay? You're trying to get the most points over 10 rounds while you're doing that. In round 5, you're going to score all your black tiles as well. In round 10, you're going to score all your white tiles. Whoever has the most points when all that's said and done is the winner. To see how that works, you can click the link in the video description. Otherwise, stick around here. And I'll tell you, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'll show you the components. All right, let's take a look at these components. So this is the box for Mezen. I love this. The vibe is awesome. It kind of looks Christmassy. It's not a Christmas game, but it looks Christmassy, and I kind of dig that. The animals are funky. I just like the box a lot. It is fantastic. Now let's look at the components. The rest of the components are equally as cool. So this is the board here. It really is just a score track. You can put the amulets in the middle just to have some place to store them. But look, these scoring markers are really cool. They're shaped like the tiles, which we'll get to in a second. Every player has their own scoring shape, which is fantastic. These cards are cool as well. These are the scoring cards. You're going to see like the icons, how many points they're worth, and they're going to have different decks that they come from to help you sort them out. Again, it's consistent with the art of the tiles. I love the vibe. The components on this are top notch. Spoiler, I'm not even done yet. But the components are cool. These are just cardboard chits. They have pictures on them that are irrelevant, but you know, just goes with the theme that we're hanging out in the game here. This first player marker, or active player marker, is awesome because this is kind of a I say something and then you get to also do the animal that I say, like Tiny Towns and Karuba kind of deal. So this is just saying who's calling the animal. Not really a first player. There's no player per se. We're all playing at the same time, but really cool piece. Those are the tiles. The tiles are double-sided. There's white side animals, black side animals, and each of the tiles are different on the back. Some of them have trees. You can see this one notes that it has a tree on the back. So if I flip it, you can see the spruce here. Spruces are wild when calling animals, but don't help in scoring. Which I may or may not have shown correctly in the overview, but, you know, c'est la vie. This is one of the shapes. There's extra shapes here. We got the octagons. There's typical square, which I actually don't hate. They're easier to put in a grid. And then last time I played, I had these cool circle ones. So, different shapes to denote players. They could all be the same, but it helps with the scoring, which I think is cool. So, rulebook is pretty good. We found one issue when it's talking about grouping some stuff. It says each player has to combine a group of tiles. you're not really combining. So when I think combining, I'm thinking like Candy Crush, where, you know, you take a tile and you would move it, like I'd move that to make a match, and then those would fall out. But you're not really doing that. You're just looking for a group. So like if I want hedgehogs, there's 3 hedgehogs. You just take those hedgehogs. Or you can break them up with an amulet. So it's a little funky on some of the wording, but it is translated from Russian. I believe Hobby World is Russian, so I'll give that a little bit of grace. But it did take us longer than I wanted it to learn that, which is kind of frustrating. So other than the rulebook issue, which I'll talk more about later, the components are fantastic. I love the vibe. Love the look of that. And yeah, it's really solid. So there you go. Those are the components for Mezen. Let's see what we think about the game. Alright, so that's Mezen. This is a game that just showed up. We were having a game night with some friends, and this game showed up. It was raining. The box was wet. I opened it, and I saw this box here, and it really intrigued me. Then I looked at the back of the box, and I saw... Let me see if I can do it without making a big mess. I saw what the game looked like, and it was amazing. That really looked cool. I knew it was going to be an abstract. I could tell by looking at it, but I like the vibe. I like the look, and I like when abstract games have art and a theme, and this one has all that. So I was like, all right, cool. So during our game night, we played it. I learned it, and we played it, and this is where the issues came. So first issue I found is we were trying to learn this game from the rulebook, which I never do. I always learn ahead of time for issues like this. And as I showed in the components, there's a section in here where it talks about combining a group of tiles with that symbol to take off the painting unless you do something else. But what I was interpreting that as is taking a tile, slopping it, kind of Candy Crush, so taking a hedgehog, combining it with a chicken so I can get chickens next to each other and then tiles come off. Okay? That's what I was trying to do. But what this really means is pick a group. You don't have to combine anything. You just need to find a group of that animal that's one or more and take it off. You can add amulets to turn another animal into something animal, or you can break it up so you don't have to take as many off. But then you take them off, slide them down, flip the tiles, put it back in. It took us about 10 or 15 minutes to figure that out because it was not well translated. And then we had some issues with scoring. Some of the scoring was also a little weirdly translated. So that took us a little bit. We scored some of it wrong. Part of it was my interpretation, so I'm not going to hold that to it. But the rule book was a little bit of an issue. Then we played it. While we were playing, I was thinking, man, this game is fun, but our friends were like stomping us. So that's not a fault of the game necessarily, but when I play a game and I can see that I'm losing by 100 points, and I'm doing everything I can to try to nickel and dime 2 points here and there, and they're getting 20, 30 points on a turn, it just doesn't make me feel good. Again, not a fault of the game. My player preference, I prefer games that are 20 to 25 or 30 to 32, really close games where it feels like I have a shot the whole time. And this didn't quite have that. So that kind of bothered me. And I don't know, I just kind of wanted more out of the tile flipping. It was cool. You're grabbing the tiles, you're flipping them to the other side, and you're moving them down, trying to get animals next to certain animals, certain colors next to certain colors to score points. But I almost would have wished it did that Candy Crush thing, because that would have been a little more interesting. Like I take this tile, move it over, and it would turn into that animal. It fires it off. I get to do some cool combos. I just wanted a little more from it. It was just moving tiles and scoring some points. I liked it. It was fine. But with the rulebook issue, with getting stomped by our friends, I normally don't throw that as an issue of the game, but I'm going to on this one because I feel like abstracts kind of lend themselves to that, and I don't know. I just get tired of that. I shouldn't lose at a game because your brain works differently than me. So that's one of my issues. I should be able to compete with somebody whose brain works differently than mine just as well. So again, me issue. You can argue with me about that in the comments. That's fine. But I wanted to mention that it bothers me. So all that being said, it's a fine game. It looks fantastic. If you're into abstracts, probably going to love this. Our friends really loved it who stomped us. So probably after I'm done with this review, I'll give them this one because they're going to play it way more than me and enjoy it way more than me. And that's fine. People will. If you like it, I don't blame you for liking it. It looks fantastic. The game is interesting. The scoring is interesting. It's just those two issues, the rule book and getting stomped and not having as a dynamic of control as the characters as I would like kind of bother me. So there you go. That's Mezen from Arcane Wonders and Hobby World. Fantastic box. I'll mention it again. I like the vibe. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and as always, keep gaming.